And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. As you guys can see on the screen right now, we have one of the, I think officially now, Basic Trainer is the guest that have been on this channel more than any other person. But ironically, he's also possibly my favorite person in this hobby. This is a person that I've met down personally in the Leonhardt Pop Shop. We've conversed more times than I could count, but he's definitely one of my favorite persons in the hobby. But with that said, I know we're going to talk a little bit about his experience in Collecticons. He's been to, I want to say, Basic, how many Collecticons have you been to at this point?
I missed Orlando and now Charlotte.
So how many in total, though?
I can't.
A lot.
4, 5. I'm like, yeah.
4 or 5. So you've been to a lot of Collecticons. I definitely want to get your experience. I want to get your feelings on the overall market. But with that said, man, tell me about your experience in Dallas at the Collecticon. How was it? How's everything been with you and Pokemon and just life in general?
Oh man, things have been good, man. In the hobby, there's been a little tweaking, a little. Maybe I've made a hard right. In the hobby, I've kind of been looking at the MetaZoo tournaments, and I think I'm getting interested. I'm getting very interested in that lane. So I'm even beginning to build decks and whatnot. So that's very interesting. But no, in the Pokemon hobby, I'm still buying. We had that conversation yesterday. Shout out to Professor Oak and his channel. We we talked about a few of the cards that I've been buying. One of the ones that I've learned to kind of appreciate with all the cons that I've been going to is the Comic-Con Pikachu from 2005. And so, yeah, it was one of those things like, you know what? PSA 9, Pop 25, it makes sense. 2005, it just makes sense. How many of those could be out there? I looked at Raws, I looked at, all the copies, and I just had to jump on one. But yeah, the hobby's good. I'm still very Pokemon heavy. I'm experimenting with this new lane, and Collecticons, they're awesome. I did go also to mention to the Nationals just to test. It's sports heavy, right? Very, very heavy. But it was just one of those cool experiences. There were some Pokemon people there. It was in Chicago, and that was an awesome time as well. But I think all of these events, just from an experience standpoint, if you're able to, just go to one. Go to one. They're awesome, and you'll probably be hooked after that.
So, yeah, I definitely want to ask you a lot of questions because I think this is a good thing because anybody out there listening who's never been to a Collecticon, I've personally never been to a Collecticon. So if you want to know what's going to happen, I feel like I would be a good person to ask those questions. But is it just a lot of booths, or do you already have people there you're going to meet up with, or is it just kind of whatever happens happens?
So yeah, a lot of times, you'll reach out to people like kind of how we did, right, with the pop-up shop. We talked about it. Let's hang out, let's do this, let's do that. There's definitely that. But then there's going to be a ton more people that you're going to meet for the first time. You're just going to randomly run into them, while you're, going down the lanes. This time around Classics, shout out to Pokemon Classics. We were DMing a little bit back and forth. He told me that he was going to be there. I asked him, hey, man, I need your autograph. And he said, only if I could get yours.
Did he talk about the purple energy at all?
No, I don't.
So right now he's the one sitting on the purple energy. And for anybody watching this video who doesn't know what the purple energy is, it is the most meme of memes, the 8.5 psychic energy graded by CGC. Everybody signs the slab. He is currently the one sitting on that. So I was just curious if maybe he mentioned that to you.
I actually want to say, because man, it also becomes a blur, but I want to say he actually pulled it out. He was at the booth with Gary and the Pawn Stars booth with Chum Lee. And I actually say he pulled it out of his bag when he was pulling out all the things that we were signing back and forth. So I think he actually pulled it out now that you mentioned it. Yeah.
Oh, whoever signed it better have, donated the $20 to charity. Otherwise, that would really have hurt.
I don't know who he sent it to. I don't know who.
No, that would have been awesome. But no, so I know there's a lot of Collecticons going on. Even as the time of recording this video, I know Charlotte in North Carolina is going on, and there's a lot that revolves around that. And I think there's a decent amount of people going. But I know Denver is a pretty big collector con. That's going to be October 14th, 15th, that weekend. And so far right now, there seems to be a lot of people. I am at like 30% going. I know I said originally I was 20%. Maybe it's creeped up a little bit to 30%. But
That's gone up.
now, is it the same sort of feeling like we had at the Leonhardt Pop Shop, or is it just a different type of situation?
There's something about this Denver Collecticon, man. There's something about this one. This one might be the Super Bowl of every single Collecticon so far.
Why do you say
Because
that? I mean, come on, why? But why? Why do you say that? So
because of all the personalities that are going to be there. I mean, if you go to 2 or 3 Collecticons in a row, you will eventually see the majority of the personalities, right? And I'm talking about influencers, YouTubers, things like that, right? As a fan first, that's kind of what I'm aiming at, right? I've got my little book of autos, and I've got people signing my book of autos, things like YouTubers, things like that.
So tell me some of the people. Who have you met there too? Because you say like, all right, the people that are going to be there. Who have you, and again, this is at least going to come off as I'm sponsored by Collecticon. I am not Collecticon. If you're out there, feel free to reach out to me.
I should get the book just so I can go page to page, so you can see the people that I'm aiming at. But again, this is me, right? This is just this is the people that I perceive as, oh my God, here's this YouTuber. Let me just run down the list. Let me just think, anywhere from the Flex Gods. Flex Gods are always there. They're always there. I've seen them at every Collecticon so far. The trying to think of like the very first one, running into the Garys.
Flex
Gary's
Gods,
always...
really? Are you confusing Flex Gods, or you're talking?
No, Flex Gods, the brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Flex Gods. They're always there. They're always hustling, man. I saw them again here at Dallas, but we'll sit there, we'll chat for like 5 minutes, man. But they're working deals. And I actually forget their names. I have a problem with just calling you guys by your stage names and not knowing a lot of these guys' real names. But as a fan, I prefer the stage name because I want to keep it that way, right?
Yeah. I told you my first name, and you're like, no, you're PK. You're gonna be PK to the day you die. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. Again, I'm a fan first. I will always preach that, and I want to keep it that way. I don't want to turn you into a real person. I want to keep you.
Fair enough. I called you by your first name too, and you're like, "Whoa, stop it."
Yeah. So yeah, like all the YouTubers that we all are used to watching, I've ran into at some point. Like the only old school Pokemon, Gentman Pokemon, Rusty. I mean, these are the types of things. Rusty. When I met Rusty, it was the first time I met Rusty. You met Rusty. We all met Rusty for the first time there.
I've never seen this channel in less than a week, man.
June 10th. Mark it on your calendars. The only reason why I know that is because Jurassic Park comes out that day, so
don't worry, it's like a crazy 11 a.m. Eastern time, so 10 a.m. your time. So
I'm skipping Jurassic Park that day just so I can watch the live, just so I can be there. So I'll watch it the next day. But
drill them on the FPOs.
Yeah. So Pokemon Radar, Don Diego, not Shivam, Easy, all these channels. At the time, one of the J Boys.
Which one? Which J Boy?
The Pokeju.
Is Rattle in the chat? Shout out to Rattle.
The
still pretty famous even after everything.
Yeah, the Pokeju, it was one of the guys that I would talk to regularly at the Collecticons. We would hang out and whatnot, and then and everything was cool and all. And then once I wore the hoodie, it just kind of I got unfollowed and but it's okay. It's okay. Everyone has the right to do what they want to do. It's a free country. So yeah, it's those types of personalities, man. I mean, all the way up to like the Leonhardts, the real Breaking Nates. I mean, the real top of the Mount Rushmores.
Yeah. The top of the food chain compared to stuff like this. Yeah.
All the way down to like 10 subscriber channels. I actually met this one guy that was just started out. I forget his name. I forget his name now because I don't even watch him anymore. But I was like, man, I've ran into your channel a few times. You got like 12 videos. I've seen a couple of them. That's awesome. You're gonna run into everyone again. 2 to 3 collecticons in a row. You're gonna run into a lot of people. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And yeah, it's something I don't know. It's
So
something that's really on my list to do. The only problem is it's not a dollar amount thing, it's just a time thing.
Yeah.
And getting the okay from the boss. And the okay from the boss means from the wife.
So you need to do it as early as possible. You need to start planting the seeds, right? You need to start planting the seeds, water it, you make sure you nourish it, you make sure you talk to it, talking to it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Plant the
do it.
seed.
That's right. That's right. You make sure you open the shades, every day. You turn it so you can get sunlight from every angle. Yes, you do all of that.
How you do it? Because I don't really know how to do it at this point.
I'm
afraid to ask too early, because if you ask too early, then October is a long time away. So anytime I don't want her to do anything, she'll bring that up. Be like, hey, what about October when you go into Collecticon in Denver? How about that? And then I'll be like, all right, buy whatever you want or do whatever you want or whatever.
The trick is you don't ask right away. You just plant the seed. Oh man, I heard these guys are going to Denver. Man, that's so amazing. That's so amazing for them. I hope they have a great time. Then you mention it a couple weeks
turn
later.
It into her thought instead of yours. Exactly. So she brings it up. She's like, you should probably go,
Exactly.
It's like, oh,
exactly.
You know what? Should I?
Exactly. But yeah, going back to the Super Bowl, right? Why it's going to be a Super Bowl? Not only is every influencer in the game, right? On every YouTube channel, every IG character is going to be at this Collecticon specifically. I don't know why. But also a lot of the people in the chats are saying that they're going, right? No YouTube channels, no IGs, no socials, but they're going just because Denver is going to be this big thing. So now you're adding, the fan base, the niche fan base with this crowd, and it's just going to be an amazing time. It's almost, it reminds me of when Oak was over there. I believe it was Orlando, and he met with Chief King. Shout out to Chief King. I see him in the chat.
Shout out Chief King.
It's those types of things that it's just awesome when you can mix both the fans and the fans that these are the guys that I see in my chat. That would just be an amazing thing to see live.
Yeah, no, shout out to Chief Keen. Honestly, every single time I go live, Chief Keen, I don't know how he does it, but he always manages to be the very first person to comment. And trust me, stuff like that is very noticed. And yeah, he's one of the people I would love to meet. Professor Oak's one of the people I love to meet. There's actually a lot of people going that I would love to meet. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe.
Plant the seed.
You're planting the seed. We're at like 31%. So we've already creeped up like 1%. There's only 100. 100 and we're getting close though.
You were at 20% last week, so I'm liking this this progressive.
This progression.
Yeah. Yeah.
And poor Swami, from the rumors I've heard, it's like Swami now has to have a banger because all these people are going to just show up to his house whether they get invites or not. Poor guy.
Apparently this guy has a 20-30 room mansion that he lives in because everyone's staying there. But imagine that. Just picture that environment, picture that scene. It would be so amazing. It would be so amazing putting so many personalities in this one little pocket, for a few hours. Even then it would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to get if I could get, so obviously that we now have a monthly podcast, me, Rattle, Co-Trainer Ryan, and the next episode, so it's a monthly podcast, it's not like a weekly podcast or anything, and the next episode is going to be June 17th. I think that's a Saturday. Yeah, June 17th. And I would love to eventually get Rattle down at an event, Rattle at an event, and get Cool Trainer Ryan at an event. I think that would be awesome. Be able to do like one of those lives that we have real time in the same room. I don't know what would happen. It would be a total like.
That would be.
I might get banned from YouTube at that point.
Oh, okay, you just gave me an idea. You just sparked it. PK, you're a business, right? You got a YouTube channel.
I'm not
socials.
a business.
Shh. you tell your wife you're a business, you're trying to increase this, you're it's momentum, right? So you're setting up this live in Denver with Rattle, with cool trainer Ryan, and obviously you need to be there for this reason, for this live. And obviously this is the place to bring all those guys in. I mean, these are the perfect personalities for Denver.
Yeah. No, and it's funny too, because during one of our lives, well, our only official podcast live, cool trainer Ryan said something like, be free like a butterfree. And then originally he said, let your butterfree free so he could fuck another butterfree. That's what he originally said. And then he eventually whittled it down to be free like a butterfree. And I called you out in the chat. I said, Basic, you got to make me some shirts that says be free like a butterfree. And we took not Rattles, cool trainer Ryan's thought. We pulled it back a little bit. I'm waiting for those t-shirts still, man.
Well, I didn't know how serious you were, but I can definitely make it happen. We'll just have to figure out the exact, quoting, the exact picture. I know you said you wanted a Butterfree, but with cool trainer Ryan's head on it or something along those lines.
I don't remember exactly what I said, but we definitely need a be free like a Butterfree shirt. Like it's like the most stereotypical like Pier 1 import type thing. Every time you go into somebody's house, what does it say? Like live, life, love, or some BS.
Yeah,
I need to where I walk into every single person's house, it says be free like a Butterfree. It's like, oh, so I see you are also go to TJ Maxx and you have a live, life, love. I need a be free like a Butterfree on every single person's wall.
I remember I clipped it. I clipped quite a few from your very first episode with these guys.
That was very clippable, man.
And I just don't think I actually went through with that specific one, but maybe I did. But yeah, it was on my stories. That way, after 24 hours, it's gone.
Well, shout out to your wife if she's out there listening. We need a shirt that says "Be free like a Butterfree," and maybe that'll be something we could sell and make her pay for our way down to.
Oh, merch! There we go. There we go.
But no, that's awesome. So, all right, again, for everybody out there watching this, I've never been to CollectCon. I don't know what to expect. I do want to ask Basic a little of the questions like, so when you walk in, is it a crazy long line? Can you go right through there? Are you instantly at tables? What's it like?
It's sort of like how we planned out Leonhard pop-up shop, right? Mm-hmm. You just want to get the best ticket. That way you're not missing anything. You get the full experience. I forget what the premium is for a VIP pass. It's not terrible. I believe it's like under $100, but a regular pass for the 2 days, it's $72, I believe. So again, the premium is
what does VIP mean? It's like separate entrance or what?
You're in the front of the line. You get right in. There's separate lines at that, but at the same time, on the very first day when everyone's getting their passes, you're still going to form line. So you're going to have to get there an hour earlier. The way I've always done it, I just see someone, and this last time it worked the exact same way, but you just see someone. This time around, it was loot. Is it loot box? Loot box. I saw the loot box crew. I went to the door, not realizing it was him. I was just going to ask a question. Once I saw loot box, I said, "Hey, loot box, what's going on?" He goes, "Hey." I said, "Hey, you working security at the door?" He says, "No, not at all." I was like, "All right, you mind if I get right in here?" He goes, "I didn't see you." I'm like, "All right." So I went right in there and I went right to the front of the table. I still had to wait, but at least I was already inside instead of waiting line. I don't recommend everyone cheat the system, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do because waiting in line. It wound up being, I remember getting out of the event at about 11 a.m. Event starts at 9 for VIPs, 10 for the regular admission. And then when I left at 11, just a quick trip, man, that line wrapped around for like a quarter of a mile at least. So, and this was already 11 a.m. An hour past the start time. So VIP is definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. You do want to get there an hour early the very first day, just so that you can get in there, get your badge. Once you get your badge, You're free to go in and out. The next day, you walk through these VIP doors, and you don't worry about a thing.
Is it as busy the second day as the first day?
I would say definitely the second day is the lightest consistently. And lightest, I mean by 20%, 25%, arbitrary number. But yeah, it just kind of feels that way. Saturday is the heaviest.
Okay, so now I want to know, because again, everybody out there just tuning in, I've never been to Collecticon, but what are the booths like? Because I've heard from some people that the vendors have a lot of their product really like well over market. So forget eBay comps, forget like being there in person, paying cash. A lot of this stuff is well over market. How true would you say that is? Because now I've also heard this from people who sell there. So obviously the person I heard that from is Nick Old School Pokemon. He's been a vendor at a few of these collector cons. He's said that some of the people have stuff priced so high that they're not even willing to really like haggle at all. And I would think for me personally to go there, if I was able to walk up to booth, one of the things I would like to do more than anything is actually haggle prices and ideally get stuff below market price, because for me, cash is king, or at least normally that's how my brain thinks, right? Like cash is king. Like, sure, I buy something on eBay, I get the protection and everything, but all that protection is just about that stuff getting sent to me in the mail, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to pay, money, and that person selling on eBay is still going to pay eBay fees, and depending on the value of the item, they're still going to pay a little bit of shipping fees and stuff like that. So I would always think like, okay, if I was at an event like a Collecticon with a bunch of just cash, I should be able to get even lower prices. But from what everybody has said, it doesn't seem like that is actually the case.
Which is weird because I always felt like I actually have the opposite experience. But I guess you just got to know how to talk to these people. And, comps are everything. Comps are everything, with vendors. Yes, they will have $1,000 card priced at $1,400 to $1,600. But you pull up that comp of the last sold within the last 48 hours, and they're going to work with you 100%. And it's not like if the last one sold for $1,000 and they've got it set for 1,600, they're not going to say, "Hey, 1,300 is the best I'm going to do." No, they're going to say, "Let's do 1,100 then." You're going to wind up being somewhere between your 900 and his 1,000. Are you going to be above market or below market? Well, it all depends, yes, on that vendor now, because at that point now it's 50-50, whether you're going to be able to beat market from the last, sold. Also knowing, calculating that how much the person that bought that off eBay, calculating his fee. So you calculate all that in there.
So what you just said is a good thing to say. Do you think that the people selling or vending there, do you think that their price points are actually a lot lower, meaning that they actually, again, I guess for this point, we're going to be talking graded cards. Sure, you could pick up probably raw cards there too, or sealed product, but just for the sake of this conversation, saying I want to pick up a graded card. Now, do you believe that for the majority of the vendors, their price point is they bought that card raw, they graded that card themselves, and now they have it for sale in the graded form? Or do you believe that the vendors there bought that card pre-graded, now they're also trying to now make a profit on the card that they bought already graded? Which
it's a mix. It's a mixed bag in my
Okay.
experience. If you actually ask whether they're being truthful or not, they don't mind sharing. I was going after this one card, and I was looking at 3 different copies around the booths, just looking at the best quality one, the best looking 9. And I asked the guy, like, okay, like what's the bottom, dollar here? How much are you into this card? And he said, "Oh, actually, I just bought this card for X amount." So I told him, "All right, if I give you," and I was willing to pay $75 more than that. I was like, "You're walking away with $75 profit by simply handing over some cash to this one guy, and then handing over the card to me, and I hand you over cash. You're profiting $75. My theory is, if you take a profit, especially on such a quick transaction like that, you'll never go broke. Why are you holding on to it? we ended up not making the deal. My usually my trick is I'll work the deal on Saturdays. I don't actually pull the triggers until Sundays, because Sundays they're all just trying to unload. They're all just trying to, get rid of inventory. They don't want to walk away with this stuff that, go and take it back home. So Sundays are the days to make deals. And again, cash is king. But yeah, if you just ask, hey, how much are you into this card? They'll tell you. And when you look at certain numbers and things like that, it's sometimes it's a little obvious, what's going on in that situation. But yeah, I think vendors overall, they're very honest. They'll tell you, because they'll tell you at the end of the day, I don't need to sell it to you. I'll find somebody else. I need this amount to be able to to sell this card. I need X amount. So
now, what are your feelings? So again, everybody out there watching this, I'm asking basic questions because basic's been the collecticons. I have not. Your feelings about people that are vending. Do you get the feeling that people that are vending are like the Nick old school Pokemons who have been entrenched in this hobby for a while? Or do you feel that for the majority of the vendors, are they the people that are kind of new to the hobby? Because again, going back to the reason why I asked this question is because I'm trying to think of like getting the best value. Truthfully, getting the best value, you're probably going to find the person who's been in the hobby a little bit longer, because of what I alluded to earlier, that they had actually took that card raw, graded themselves, so their price point is lower. They're able to sell that card for lower and still make crazy gains. And I know for some people out there, it's going to be like, PK, shut the fuck up. You live in such a weird like world, but that's how I'm always thinking. And again, I'm always trying to get the best deal. So
yeah, I would say most of the vendors, and this is a feeling because I only really have conversations with those that, for whatever reason, it just piques my interest, and then I would have conversations with the vendors. But I would say it's maybe 30% newer, people. It's still heavy on the side of the people that've been doing it for a while. And then Collecticon has just kind of provided this outlet to, reach out to, to more of a public, going city to city and whatnot. You see a bunch of the regulars there. You're just going to see them city to city. You're just going to see them there. Shout out to Ken Lee. That guy always has the best tables. And he's there every single time. And every time I go to these Collecticons, you see the regulars. Nathan, is it Sub F, right? Sub F.
Sub F, yeah.
Yeah, he's
somebody I need
always
to get
there
on this channel soon. Me, Rattle have talked about him. Maybe we'll get him on the podcast with me, Rattle, and Ryan.
Yeah, so he's always there. He always has a nice selection of vintage, of modern. Edison Sears usually is there working with him. So shout out to Edison Sears too as well. But yeah, it's
some people that he does try to get prices very similar to what I am. Like he's only ever willing to spend like 60 to 70%, 50% market value. Like he's I heard he's a tough person to negotiate. Hearing through friends that have negotiated with him in the past.
I always try to negotiate with them just because I like Nathan. I like the personality. Edison Sears is there. I like Edison Sears. I like the personality. So those are always my go-to boots, right? But Nathan is very tough. Nathan is going to give you 70% on a good day.
I met him once.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was with you actually when I met him.
Oh yeah. At the Leonhard Pop-Up Shop. That's right.
He gave Rock that Harry Potter pack, remember? For free.
Yeah. He came around
I know nothing about Harry Potter, but I'm sure it was like a good pack because Connor seemed really excited to get it.
Yeah, no, I remember he came up to me like, basically, do you have more of those G.I. Joe packs? So I'm like, here you go.
Yeah.
No, I love Nathan. He's an awesome dude, but man, businessman, this guy's ruthless, cold-blooded. He's out for blood. So if you're going there
from some people who are sellers there,
So if you're going there to sell your collection, yeah, expect a 40%, cut. I mean, you're gonna give him 40% discount. Is usually how I frame it. You're giving him a 40% discount, so you're only gonna get 60% back. Yeah, Ken Lee is the one that I always shout him out. Man, that guy's always between 15 and 25%, averaging 20%, which is amazing. But Ken Lee also is like that. Again, he has the best tables. This guy's top tier. And I learned something brand new this time around of
So
how
who's
he's able
Ken
to
Lee
do
for
these
any?
deals.
So basic for anybody out there who doesn't know, who's Ken Lee?
Ken Lee is on IG, the Pokemon Network. If you look at his IG and his profile, I mean, you just scroll through this guy has this, stacks of slabs, stacks of money, stacks of vintage boxes, the craziest, vintage boxes, legendary. I mean, and I should have taken pictures. This time I took very little pictures of his booth. But the last time, Houston, he had a master set PSA 10 legendary collection, all reverse, every single card. That's when I was trying to make a trade with them for the Team Rocket Returns master set PSA 10. And we just couldn't make it happen. He lives in Dallas.
So you have a Team Rocket master set? I never knew that.
No, we were trying to make a deal for it.
So what did you have? What was your part of the deal then?
Vintage boxes, cash. Yeah.
Oh, you brought some vintage boxes. What did you bring?
I didn't take it with me. He lives in Dallas. So once I saw that he had this collection, because you don't know what everything that he has. Sometimes he would just bring his premier stuff, and that's when you see it for the first time. So because he lives in Dallas, we try to make a deal, and if we made the deal, then I would just drive up to Dallas, no problem, and meet up with him, and just make the deal happen. But what I told this story, I believe it was on DNA's channel. It was the Snorlax that got me. I was combing through every single PSA 10 to make sure that it was at least a very strong PSA 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything was looking fine up until it just happened to be Snorlax was the last one. And I swear to you, this was a PSA 5.
And that's
it was
the
just
strongest cards in that entire, obviously excluding gold stars, but Snorlax is one of the heavy hitters in that.
Yeah, it was just very disappointing. So I was trying to get a discount based off that one card, and I was explaining, look at the quality. This is not a 10. I'm gonna have to get rid of this card. Go buy me another 10 if I can find one. It just so happened.
Way too picky.
So
what causes it to be a 5? So in my opinion, a 5. That you're talking binder dings make 5s.
It was, to me, it was the bottom right corner. I remember vividly the bottom right corner, the whitening actually was deep into the card. It wasn't like on the edge, where whitening usually sticks. No, it was deep into that corner of the card. So much so that it was like, whoa, like, why is this maybe a 7, but maybe I was being a little too mean with the 5, but maybe I have a picture. I'll send it to you, on IG if I find it. But I was trying to get a discount based off of this. Like, look, man, I'm trying to haggle with the guy. So I'm like, look, I'm gonna have to go find this Snorlax, on eBay or somewhere. And as I'm looking it up, there's a Snorlax going on auction with 9 days left. So I'm like, okay, let me see if I can make this deal. Hopefully, him knowing that I'm gonna have to resource another Snorlax, knowing that I have another Snorlax on eBay right now that I can go after. So I told him, look, here it is, but I'm gonna need a deal. Let's do it. He told me, get that Snorlax, we'll make the deal happen. I didn't get the Snorlax. It went for like $4,700. I think I was budgeting at like 37. Just based on the last comps, but it went for $4,700, and I just couldn't do it at that point. But Ken Lee, the Pokemon Network, best table every single time at Collecticon, the craziest collections. He brings his freaking safe because that's how much money he's carrying around. That guy's the top dog. So I learned I actually had a very small collection. I'm trying to have him because he's bought 3 collections of mine already, including this one. We're trying to make a deal. This time around, though, he gave me a little worse because he says, hey, man, times are different. The markets are different, and you have to help me out this time. And I'm like, all right, crap. I already had a percentage in mind based off current markets. I was, I was just trying to kind of play the game. Okay, we came to an agreement. All of a sudden, there's come these two guys. These two guys says, "Hey, Kenley, what do you got for me?" He says, "Oh, here you go. I just made this purchase." He hadn't paid me yet or anything. We shook on it, but he hadn't paid me yet or anything. He says, "Oh, this right here, you want it?" And he says, he's looking around, he's looking at them. They're brothers. They do whatnot. I forget their names so I can shout them out. So they're looking through the
whatnot.
collection. They're looking through the connection.
I feel like I would walk in and be like, "Oh, I've seen how whatnot is scamming people," and we couldn't like figure out a way how you were doing it.
So they're looking through the collection and they're like, "Yeah, we'll take it." And Kenley says, "All right." He goes, "Well, how much are you into it?" And he goes, "Well, I paid X much. Give me X much." It was $100 more, just $100. Get it off my hands. Give me $100 more. You can have it. They're like, "Yeah, no problem." He just made $100 profit off of my sale that I just sold him 10 seconds ago. So I was like, "Oh, now I see how Kenley does it." And I was talking to him like, "Yeah, he has all these middlemen that he'll buy these little collections and sell them for $100 to the next booth. He'll do that all day at that Collecticon because he could give you the best percentages and just collect an extra $100 from the next booth down the road." So that guy's a shark. That guy is.
No, you know what, man? I'm excited just to like hopefully go to one pretty soon. Grow those type of connections you did. And I think that's what this hobby, I mean, ideally that's what you want to do is, right? Do what you're trying to do is trade in to catch them all, right? Or at least catch what you want to catch. But real quick shout out to Rattle because I see Rattle's in the chat right now. I don't know if you got a chance to watch his Friday Night Live yet, or
what's up, Rattle?
Live, his Friday night premiere, dude.
With with Caribou, yeah, I saw it.
So, out of all his premieres so far, that was my favorite, and I might be biased to that because I was actually in the Caribou original video she made. There's like a very small scene where she uses some of the words I said, takes it completely out of context. I hated it, but I mean, you would have to really go back a long ways on my channel to like see. I made like a mini response to that. Not really. I mentioned it like
I remember
an hour into a live one time. So that was my response. But dude,
I made sure
I loved it. I laughed. So it's very rare do I watch a YouTube video on my phone, like watching it real time, where I actually laugh out loud to the point where people have to kind of question, like, "What are you laughing at?" My wife was like, "What are you laughing at?" And that was one of the very, very few times. Loved it. I thought it was the best one yet. And it was the shortest one.
I always try to make the premieres, because that's, it gives you that live, feeling. So it's kind of the same atmosphere.
It's a
but
cool
it's
feeling
right
too, to be part of that chat going real time.
Right. But he goes earlier on a Friday instead of a Friday night, how everyone kind of does it, right? He goes like around 6 p.m. Central.
Or no, it's 8 p.m. Eastern, so 7 p.m. Central. Yeah.
So this one I was 11 minutes late, whatever. But I made it a point to make this one because this one also I wanted to see because I had my opinions about Frosted Caribou myself. She banned me or kicked me out. I guess it was her boyfriend or husband or whatever it is from her live chats. I used to watch her. My daughters loved her. I kind of prohibited my daughters from watching her. But I said I will not let my girls get snowflaked by a snowflake.
I would love to hear that conversation at your kid's school. It's like, "Oh, what do you think about her?" And your kids are like, "Yeah, my dad doesn't let me watch that."
I listen. I know that it's a bit immature, but I flat out told my girls, "Hey, we're not watching Frosted Caribou anymore." They said, "Why?" They said, "Why, Daddy? Why?" I said, "Because she's a snowflake. That's why." And then we never watched her again. All I said was, and this was a genuine question. They were flowing through a live. I would jump on her lives. All I asked was, "Hey, what do you guys think about Logan Paul's, Becca 10, chain when he walked out on, Mayweather's fight?" That was awesome.
So that's
she
pretty
reads
recent,
it,
man. That was only a couple months ago.
A couple months ago. No. We're talking about the very
Oh,
first time he
Mayweather. I'm
brought it up.
sorry. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
Mayweather. Yeah,
WrestleMania. You're right. You're right. I'm
no,
sorry.
Mayweather.
Everybody out there, I apologize.
And she reads it and she says, "Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna give this guy time. He's trying to gaslight me. Taco, you know what to do." I'm like, whoa, what is Taco gonna do? Boom, I'm banned. I'm like, what the like really? That's all that what did I say? I was genuinely going in there, just wanted to hear what people, had to say about it, because I'm one of those that thinks LP's awesome. I don't think LP is bad for the hobby. I think he's amazing. Whenever a celebrity goes in there and puts a freaking Pokemon around his neck on a Charizard, I think that's amazing. Hell, I even did it on this past Collecticon because I just think that's so freaking cool. Now, I'm probably more douchier. I make it look douchier than he does, but regardless, it's
All right, basic. So for everybody out there who is watching this right now, the 60 people or 56 people, whatever, watching this, can we talk about the card you put on a chain at Collecticon? Because we've now shilled that. We've officially shilled your card to the moon. You know that, right? I honestly believe you bought a card. This channel helped shill it to the moon. And I personally would give you what did you pay for it? What
280
280?
with
So
with after taxes,
I
after
would
shipping.
okay. So to be honest with you, I'll give you what's the highest offer you've got on that so far?
I would say the highest fake offer, real fake offer, was $3,000.
I was gonna say I was gonna give you a 1,500 hard offer, but 3,000's double what I was gonna give you.
This was Ken Lee, but I know we actually I had quite a few conversations with people because obviously I had it around my neck.
That's double what I was gonna offer. Oh boy, that card's gonna go out of control pretty soon.
I showed it to Ken Lee and he says, "Whoa, what the hell is this?" He looks at it. I pull it out of the sleeve. Every time I just pull it out of the sleeve thing that I made, and he checks it out. He looks at all of his crowd inside his booth, and he goes, "Dude, look at this, look at this, look at that." And he goes, "Whoa, where'd you get this?" So I'm telling the story a little bit. They're asking me how much I got it for. At that point, I'm like, well, I made some deals. The guy didn't know what he had, but obviously at PWCC. Here, I have to say what it is, right? Anyway,
basic. I don't want to like pad the ego of my chat, but the people watching this video right now are probably some of the smartest people in this entire hobby, and I could more or less guarantee that no one knew that card existed until you showcased it. And again, anybody who doesn't know what that card is, it's literally the most ridiculous one of one hand-drawn illustrator Pikachu. Yeah, I mean,
it is ridiculous.
It's a Pikachu hand-drawn. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it's a My Little Pony official card, hand-drawn with a Pikachu. The artwork is definitely 100% illegally done. I don't know how they were able to get away with this, but then somebody had that card graded by Beckett. It was put on PWCC very poorly. PWCC should go to jail for what they did. Very poorly labeled that card in their auction. No one knew that card existed. Basic found that card. You're so lucky I didn't know that card existed.
Shout out to the green shiz, because I've told the story already.
Mm.
It was on my watch list. I was already watching it. I tuned into the green.
Give me one second.
I was already watching it, and I always tune into the green shiz Sundays lives, PWCC live. So check them out on Sunday nights. His PWCC lives are pretty awesome, pretty cool content to watch while you're doing your PWCC thing. But the moment I tune in, maybe within 30 seconds to a minute, boom, he starts talking about the pony shoe. And I'm like, oh no, right away I'm like, crap, he's got it on his watch list and he's talking about it. People in the chat are talking about it. And I'm like, crap, I'm gonna have to go up on what I initially thought was going to be my high bid. I believe my original one was like 350. The highest that I was going to go, me knowing, or at least me thinking, that this is going to be about $1,000 card, but based on what it was, I was like, oh man, I just don't see myself paying more than $350 for it. But I knew, I said in my mind, I said this is probably $1,000, and because the green shiz was talking about it, he scared me into increasing my max bid, which was about 550. But I was cringing at that point. I was like, I can't believe I just did this to myself. Like, oh, why? Like I try to be very disciplined. Once I have a formula, and once I find X number to the formula, I stick with that. And the fact that the green shiz was able to take me,
basic. We've shilled that card to the moon. True or false? We've now officially shilled your 1-of-1 card to the moon that you have no plans to sell. You have a 5x return on me. Some other random person, which I now don't like, gave you a $3,000 offer. You've officially shilled your card to the freaking moon. Congrats, you made it. Like, if you are you're on the moon. Congrats. We're all jealous.
If this card ever sells, if anything ever happens with this card, believe me, the first channel this guy will be showcased for the very last time would be on PK's channel. Before it goes away. No, so I took it to Heritage Auctions. So Pawn Stars, Chumlee, they were doing free evaluations of your cards, right? Or your collectibles. That was part of the gimmick to Chumlee and getting his autograph, right? So I go get his autograph.
Big scammers over there. You want to talk about? Don't get me going on CGC Great and Chumlee's box break real time in the room.
Yeah. We've heard those. We've heard your take on those quite a few times. So
before you go, we're going to talk about more about you bringing your card to them. But can we just have the conversation eventually of, okay, you as CGC, you say we are not going to grade cards partially. Partially would be the word, right? Where you know who submitted the card, but then yet CGC's head grader sits in the same room as somebody who opens up a booster box and goes, "This is a 10." Suck it, CGC. Sorry. Anyways, go back to what you're saying.
We all know it was a conflict of interest. We all know what that was about. It was easy. It was easy to tell. It was easy to tell. PR. Yeah, it was easy to tell.
How many unlimited jungle booster boxes were open in 2020, 2021?
Right.
At least 20-ish. How many of those cards were sent to CGC? A couple hundred. Exactly. Out of the, talking jungle booster box, 36 packs, 11 cards per pack. So you're talking over 360 because we just won't count the energy cards in it. Like, how many of there's 20 of those booster boxes open. How many of those are sent to CGC? Hundreds. Fuck you, CGC. Sorry.
Yeah.
But go back. So you take that card to Pawn Stars.
Nonetheless, I said I'm going to go get me a Chumlee autograph. So I say, hey Chumlee, you guys are doing free evaluations. What do you evaluate this card to be? He looks at it. He goes, oh, this is crazy. Like, how did this happen? And I said, hey, look, it's a 1-of-1. It's and the artist. And he goes, holy crap! And then he starts going show mode. I forget like the line, but it's very show line like. And he goes, you know what?
Have cameras on you though? Or are you by yourself? No,
it's just And he says, you know what? This card is a little bit out of my range and a bit of my expertise, but I got some experts behind me that can help me out. And here comes Heritage Auctions. They look at the card.
Who was
they get
the
a little
expert?
bit of,
Do we know? Do we know who it was?
Heritage Auctions. 2 people from Heritage Auctions, which they had a booth inside. But this is the celebrity booth. This is at the very edge of the room. So not only do they have their own booths where they have the Illustrator Pikachu, PSA 9, and a lot of other high-end, cards and collectibles that are now being showcased in their auction house. That's usually how it happens. Whatever they got going on for, let's just say next month's auction, if they're at Charlotte right now, they're showcasing everything that's ending next month. So the PSA 9 Illustrator, they have it in their hands, in their possession, and so anyway, they see it. They both look at it, they evaluate it, and they tell me, listen, this is what we can do for you. You give us the card, you submit, we'll go through the process and we'll file the paperwork and we will do everything to market it, to advertise it, and do everything in our power to make sure that the right eye sees this card. And once we do all of that, then we just let the market decide how much this card is worth. So they didn't really give me an evaluation, but they said what they can do for me. So I said, so can we? So they said, should we start the process on putting this card in our auction house? I said, nah, I'm okay. And I just left after that.
Because honestly, you had no intention to sell it, right?
No. I was just curious, but no, I'm not selling it. I'm not selling for a while. I would have to get a crazy, amount in order for me to get rid of it. I know a lot of people would call me dumb for me to not taking a $3,000 offer, but a $3,000 offer doesn't tickle my fancy for what it is, for how unique it is. Honestly, as a collector, right, this makes me feel like I have a very unique piece in a Pokemon collector's,
I
house.
hate
So
you.
it's
I hate you. The fact that you have that, because I would like to have that.
so
I've already accidentally shilled it to the moon for you. Congratulations.
So Professor Oak, I don't know if he's in here. I haven't seen him yet, but he said he was looking at it. It was on his watch list, but he was live with Thrifty TCG, and that's why he forgot to bid on the card. But it was ironic because he then invites me without knowing that I had already won the card. He invites me on that live with Thrifty TCG, and I'm talking about that little crazy scenario that happened where, with like 5 seconds left, it got pulled off, and I could not find the card. I could not find it in my one list, in any list. I couldn't find it. And my theory was, because I was pissed off, my theory was PWCC didn't like the price that this guy went for, and so they pulled it off. And now I can't find it anywhere. But eventually, after an hour, you have won items on PWCC. They send you the invoice within like 10 minutes of the auction's ending. This took an hour. So I don't know if there were conversations being had behind closed doors, whether or not it was okay to release this guy for $280. But they did the right thing, because what I had in mind right away, and I said this on Professor Oak's live with Thrifty TCG, I said, get PK on the phone, get Rattle on the phone, because PWCC is going down. Because if they are going to freaking remove this card because they didn't like the selling price, that's BS.
So I see a few questions in the chat. Dougie Fresh said, where do I send my deposit for the Butterfree shirts? So do you know who Dougie Fresh is, or have you ever talked to him at all?
So Dougie Fresh, man, I feel like I've seen him on Discords with and I don't know if he's Doug Flutie. I don't know if he's the same guy, but so I don't know who he is, but I've kind of just going based off the username.
Sure. So I just sent him if it is the same person, I hope it is. Otherwise, this will be super awkward. I just sent him a invite to the Zoom. And if anybody wants to join this Zoom, you're more than welcome. I see Ivy in the chat. Ivy, if you want to join, you're more than welcome. Andrew Lopez, more than welcome. One of the things I want to do is start to incorporate more people in the lives. And again, if you guys are just joining now, I'm going to tell you the reason why I was not making lives. 2 reasons. 3 words. Kenobi and Stranger Things. So that's your 3 words. Kenobi, Stranger Things. I've been watching Netflix and Disney Plus like it was my job, and it just ate up my entire week. That's why I haven't been making any videos.
You need to start making Netflix show reviews on YouTube. That's your segue. That's your branch off.
Dude, I can't wait until they do a Pokemon like Netflix type show like that. If they do, I would definitely say that I would not be opposed to doing a review, but doing like a live review with the chat and reading the chat.
Yeah, that would be awesome. What's going on, Pete?
So Wes Bragg said PK watched Oak's stream from last night. So Anybody who out there who's just watching this now, yes, Professor Oak stream last night, absolutely fantastic. And one of the things from Professor Oak's stream last night that I took a lot out of was Swami. So if you guys don't know Swami, he's been on my channel before. We kind of had a debate about, like CGC, anti CGC, like Swami's more pro CGC, I'm anti CGC. It wasn't a great conversation. I want to have him on just to talk about like cards and stuff like that. But anyways, one of the things he said during that live, which I thought was like extremely important, extremely, I don't know how to put it, is Swami. This is the way Swami put it, was like a lot of people talk about bags, things that you shouldn't buy, things that you should buy, but no one ever pretty much says it. So what Swami was saying was somebody should make a video where they show an eBay listing where they're like, this card was bought for X amount of dollars. I personally think this was a bad buy. And then also find an auction where a card was bought for a dollar amount and say, you know what? I think that this card was bought for a good dollar amount, and explain all the reasons why for either one. Why do I personally think that that card was a bad buy? Why do I think that the other card was a good buy? And maybe I could even go one step further and find a card that's right in the middle of the road. I think like a card that, I don't know, I could think of a card off the top of my head which was like an okay buy. Oh, okay. Card okay buy off the top of my head. I want to say it was like yesterday or the day before, I saw an Articuno PSA 9 Skyridge card sell for like 420. Ironically, the most meme dollar amounts ever. 420 for that card. I would say that it's an okay buy. It's not a good buy. It's not a bad buy. It is a middle of the road buy, meaning I don't really know if that card's going to go up. I don't know if that card's going to go down. That was a market value for that card.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, opposed to recent sales, that card is probably like $30, $40 less. It's definitely on the lower end because prices are retracing. But that's what I want to do, is try to make the video that Swami asked for, is find a card that's a good buy, find a card that's a bad buy, find a card that's a mediocre buy. I don't know. What do you think about that, Basic?
100%. That should definitely happen. When you look at these investment channels, right? And I think you're definitely included, in there when
Ouch.
channels that talk heavy in markets, I should say, not investing, markets, prices and things like that. For the whole teaching a man to fish, theory, I don't think gets done well enough in this realm. And again, I think, and no offense to anyone, but I feel like Jake probably does the best at doing that. But like you said, when you can actually showcase a card went for X amount, is this a good buy or a bad buy? And then compare something, let's just say for the same price, maybe different eras, modern, vintage, different sets within vintage, right? Even you could even stay within vintage and say, hey, there's a $400 purchase for a PSA 9 and a $400 purchase for a PSA 9, but one's Skyridge, one's Aquapolis. Maybe one makes more sense at a $400, but the other one doesn't. But comparing the two like that, it's dissecting
why. Can't do it.
Sure, but my point is, it's dissecting why one is better than the other.
Sure.
Or at least trying to come up with a thought, at least trying to come up with something.
Yeah, and you're right. And I think that's what Swami was trying to get at. Exactly what you're saying is like, okay, so you're saying one is better than the other, but explain to me, what was your thought process? And that is something I hope I can do in videos in the future. But this is where you really like put yourself out there, right? It's like, okay, this is why I think this card's a good buy. But then I feel like if I do that, I run myself into the issue where people are like, okay, now PK, you understand you are shilling this card for anything you think is positive. for the negative, I don't think people will care what I think is the negative. I don't think people even look at that. They will only care about the positive card, and then they will hold me to that card. Does that make sense?
That's true. People, yeah, people are people.
They'll be like,
People are
"Oh, PK like this. He didn't like this. Let's compare these a year from now and like figure out."
people
That's
are
why
always
I'm
going to
always
point at the
nervous doing
negatives, not the
that.
positives. Yeah, people are always going to point at negatives and not the positives. That's just the way the crowds work. It is what it is. You're never going to be able to change that.
So Dell said, thoughts on the Radiant Trio from Pokemon Go, good bag, ugly, or total waste. So I think about when he says Radiant Trio, I think he's talking about Venusaur, Blastoise, Charizard. I don't know. I don't like Pokemon Go. I think Pokemon Go is gonna really struggle. I think, and the reason why I think Pokemon Go is gonna struggle is because those Radiant cards are not exciting. And if they have any sort of pull rate similar to Astro Radiance, again, this is so early on. Pokemon Go, for anybody watching this video after the fact, at the time of recording this video, Pokemon Go has not even been released. But if we look at Astro Radiance, if we look at the Radiant Radiant collection,
Mhm.
the pull rates are relatively easy, meaning per booster box, you're probably going to get 2 to possibly complete your set of 3 per booster box. So if we see similar pull rates for Pokemon Go with the Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, they're going to be very similar to like probably what's a good example? Not even going past Radiant Collection would probably be what was the subset in Vivid Voltage? That one is like the Celebi, the Rayquaza. Oh my god, I can't even think about it. It's gonna be like that. I can't even think.
I was gonna say I was gonna have to PK before you continue. The green shit said if you could send him a link, he'll jump on.
Sure, send it to him right now. Josh, love to see you in the chat right now.
Are you going to Long Beach? PK Rattle says. Brett Rattle's asking. Long Beach? Why Long Beach though? Denver Rattle. Yeah.
Amazing Rares.
Pokemon Go
Sorry,
set.
Amazing Rares. But I think it's going to be similar to Amazing Rares, and I just don't think Pokemon Go is going to be able to like strive. I think it's going to be very similar out the gate to how Shining Fates was. I don't think it's going to have like the get up and go Shining Fates has. I think it's just going to have a trickle down effect, very similar. This is the thing. We talked about this kind of before the live started. The people I talked to, I thought I was talking to people that maybe had a little bit more experience. And this isn't a negative thing. This is actually a positive thing. I always thought I talked to people that had a little bit more experience in the hobby. I think I'm actually talking to people who are relatively new. With that sense, Detective Pikachu. How did Detective Pikachu play out? Detective Pikachu was a dud. I think there's a potential that Pokemon Go plays out very similar to a Detective Pikachu where nobody wants it. Now, why did Detective Pikachu get bought out? Because Pokemon exploded, because of 2020 and all that stuff. So I don't know.
I tell you what though, first one to market with that Charizard. That's always a play, right? That's whenever you see a chart, and it is a very good looking Charizard, right? At that, it's a very good looking trio all the way around. Like, when's the last time you actually saw a trio in the set all together? But yeah, first to market with those is going to be awesome. Those people are going to win. People listening, do not buy those graded cards when they first pop in. Do not. They're going to be very easy to pull. They're going to be all over the place. Do not buy those graded cards. But there's going to be people that are going to be paying outrageous prices just to, get the first ones on the market. So that's about it. I looked at the entire set. Excuse me. And I didn't like it. It wasn't. I had my own expectations, and maybe they were a little too high, and that's what happened there. But Pogo is just not for me.
I see
Give me
we
Astral
have,
Radiance. Give me Astral Radiance over Pogo.
I see we have Josh the Green Chiz trying to join. He's struggling a little bit to get the camera working. But so Rattle, yeah, so when is what did Rattle ask? Any plans to go to Long Beach? When is Long Beach supposed to happen?
Long Beach is August 21st. I'll be at that one.
You're going to that. Dude, you're
I'm going
all
to that one.
about Collecticon, huh?
I just love it, man. I love the experiences. I really do enjoy experiences. Socializing is one of my favorite things to do in life. It could be with anyone. It could be with the next door neighbor. It could be with the guy that I just randomly meet at the store. I remember a story just quickly. I was talking to this one guy. I met him at the store. Me and my brother were there, and my brother. Then after the guy walks off after 15 minutes, my brother says, "Oh, who was the guy?" I was like, "I don't know." He goes, "What do you mean you were talking to him for like 15 minutes?" I'm like, "I don't know who the guy is." I'm like, "You were talking to him like you knew him forever." I was like, "That's how I talk to everyone." So socializing is one of my favorite things. What's going on, Green Shares?
So real quick before hey Josh, before Rattle just said he might be at Long Beach, so now maybe I have to be at Long Beach. So maybe I'll be there in August.
Rattle, what's going on?
What's up?
I mean, I'll be there, but
Oh, he really looks like he's frozen.
he's thinking there. He's making sure he says the right thing.
He looks like he's frozen. Josh, can you hear us?
Says Green Shares connecting to audio.
We could see him moving. He's wearing his Cardinal gaming shirt, huh? Oh, we lost him.
Where's the $7 hot dog match?
But if Rattle's going to Long Beach, all right. If Rattle's going to Long Beach, I will go to Long Beach. You guys heard it here first. I will go there if we could get Cool Trainer Ryan to also go to Long Beach.
You heard it here first, guys. PK will be at Long Beach and at Denver.
I think Josh might have to. Yo, what's up?
Not much, guys. How you doing? I'm trying to connect my audio, and it's not recognizing this my computer for the first time. This is pretty awesome. So it's always something with your streams, PK.
Shiz, by chance, do you click on the very top link and not the second link? That's what I did the first time, and I thought that's what it was. So you got to click the very first link at the very top. And maybe you did the right thing, but just throwing it out there just in case.
Yeah, I'll give it.
But we can hear you.
How's the video look? Better than last time, PK?
Yeah, better than last time. I could actually see you talking.
That's good. That's good.
So
yeah. So let me see if I can figure this out real quick. I might try and hop out of here and see if I can fix this, and I'll hop right back in if I get it.
Yeah, regardless. Yeah, go ahead. Regardless, Long Beach is going to be crazy. I mean, it's California. It's LA. So it's going to be a crazy venue. It's going to be, I think it's a big one, actually. It's a very big venue. I was looking at the tables, just to see what would be available, how much would they be, only because, and again, for all of those that have been following my journey, through my PSA sub, December 2020, it's been confirmed that it's on its way. So I think I'm gonna get me a booth for Long Beach and try to sell some junk slabs. But California is definitely an interesting one. It's LA. It's it's gonna be a big one.
what's a junk slab for you?
Junk slab for me and my sub is basic commons, uncommons, things like that. I did add maybe max 30 modern, but it's anywhere from evolutions to full art, full art texture cards, sun and moon, rainbows, things like that. It's about 30 cards. vintage hollows. I know there's a Lucky Stadium in there, 2001, that I had wrapped and it's like clean. I think it's a 10, but the fact that I was not upcharged makes me say that I got a 9.
Have you seen your grades yet?
No, I have not. It's from Graded Gem, so you don't get to see your
no.
grades.
Did Cam get back to you though?
I did request to have a list of the per box, but I don't know if it'll happen. I mean, I guess that's just a lot more work. But obviously, we do stay in communication, with it.
So you know 0 of your grades.
0, and I don't want to know from that standpoint. It's just to kind of just go through the box, know what's in there to see, because I would like to go live, and just kind of open it, do it live, and just kind of just an experience. But I don't want to waste people's time with like trash either. So. But I don't want to know the grades. I don't care what the grades are, really. At $8 a card, I don't care what the grade is. But yeah, that's going to be a fun one. I'm expecting it maybe in less than 2 weeks.
I feel like poor Josh is struggling so hard to try to get on this live.
Yeah. Yeah, so who knows? So yeah, if I could get me a booth, I'm definitely going to take some of my stuff that I could, that I just don't love or enjoy anymore. I just got a lot of vintage packs, sealed packs. Might take some tops since I've shielded for about a year now, so I think it's pretty nice and warm, ready to go. Yeah, things like that. Take a shot at it, just experience it. Probably be the best way to move it anyway, instead of going like the eBay route. Shout out to Nick. Maybe he would be the alternative, but yeah, I would like to try something on my own.
So Pokemon Gym Hero said, PK, would you mind if I join the live? Been wanting to join in for some time now, and very good friend of Ryan. Cool trainer, Ryan. So this is the thing. If anybody out there who, for this is the first time you've ever like joined a chat, I just can't have you join because I need to vest you up in a very small way, right? Does that make sense? Basic, like where if this is the first time I've ever seen their name, I can't have them join.
Yeah, I think vetting is very important. I mean, I know Jake is taking a very big risk. It's pretty ballsy to just bring people on there, but yeah, just a quick vet. Maybe FaceTime them through IG.
I mean,
FaceTime them through IG. 2 minutes.
Yeah, Pokemon Gym Hero, you're welcome to reach out to me, just even on Instagram, like have one conversation with me. And we could definitely
or you could even let folks know, just leave, have them leave you a video of themselves, just sharing who they are and and whatnot. It doesn't even need to be a FaceTime, but I guess FaceTime would be best.
So Marty the Martian said, PK, what kind of people do you respect and how do you judge who has good knowledge in the hobby? I'm very curious, as I wanted to ask. That is a fantastic question. So basic, I'm going to let you answer that first because I can think about it, because I could already think of a lot of people. And
how do you judge?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
How do you judge who has good knowledge in the hobby? Okay. How do you judge who has good knowledge in the hobby? Well, if you've been in the hobby long enough, right? When you hear people talk, when they're talking about when they're dishing out knowledge, right? Because they could be dishing out crap, right? They could just be talking out of their ass and they don't know what people are talking about. We were having a conversation pre-live how PK corrected himself, but if he didn't correct himself, I don't think no one would have, because no one knew that there was actually those two differences that between the Slow Kings. But it's, I think there's a lot of people that have knowledge, and there's just levels to them. So it's all about, what do you expect? What do you expect from? So when PK came on, when he first came on with his, with the meme videos, really all I knew was that this guy was very opinionated, which I liked. I like opinionated people. And I knew that he had information. Obviously, the information that he was spilling out, I would say, yep, that's accurate. So opinionated and accurate. That's all I care for. I don't need him to be the expert in the field. I just need him to be opinionated and need him to and need his information to be as accurate as possible because we're all human. So yeah, your judgment is just based on obviously what you know yourself, because if you are also ignorant on the subject and someone else is dishing out ignorance, then but they sound good, they sound perfect, then to you, you know, they're just going to seem like they're the perfect guy for you, when in reality it's like, nope, they're just that, you know, that's not even the case. So it really actually boils down more to you more than the person that you're watching. If you are knowledgeable, if you do your research, if you do your homework, then you know who you're looking for, right? It's pretty much people that you are going to be able to fact check and things like that. There's a lot of people that watch content and will never fact check any YouTuber. So I was just telling them, PK, how you corrected yourself on the slow king, and no one on the screen, no one in the chat would have corrected you on that because they didn't know themselves, right? They didn't catch that error.
I think I know what you're talking about, the H14 versus the H22. Yeah. Right. And again, how many people even know that? But to answer Marty's question, he says, what kind of people do you respect and how do you judge who has good knowledge in the hobby? I'm just curious. I want to ask. So for me, the answer is very simple. I judge the people who have the information that matters to me. The information that matters to me sometimes could be in the niches of the niches of the niches. And then I look at the people who have that real true knowledge and I ask myself, how did they get that knowledge? Did they get that knowledge directly, or did they get that knowledge through a chain of PokeTubers or whatever, and blah, 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 you go down the train. If you watch, and I mean this truthfully, I mean this from my heart of hearts and my soul of souls. If you watch TCA Gaiman's most recent video he put out, and you actually watch the entire video, I mean, you have to watch it from the beginning of the video and make it all the way to the end, and you don't turn off the video. He talks about cards. He talks about cards, prices he paid for them. He talks about how, like the Black Star Venusaur, he paid $10,000 for that card and he made people mad in the hobby and things like that, where if you don't listen to that one sentence of that one video that he made one time, just as recently, you don't understand. You're like, well, why did he make people mad that he didn't pay. He traded $10,000 worth of value. What does that mean? What does trading $10,000 worth of value mean? Why is that important for that one card? Why is that card so hard to grade? Why, it's just like you go down this rabbit hole. And, when he talks about cards and how they were printed, and there's a variation here and this variation here, and he learned about this variation from this person who worked at Wizard of the Coast in 2000. It's like, well, how did he learn about the person who knew about that variant in 2000? Because he reached out to him directly. And you just do this, right? You do this like crazy rabbit hole thing. So when you ask me the question of who I respect the people who did the work. And a lot of the information that sometimes me and maybe even Basic and maybe even Josh, will sometimes recite this information almost as if it's gospel. In a way, we've done none of the research. Like, how many people are watching this video? We got 72 people watching live. If I say there's 20 of every single snap card, there's a good chance 72 people out there would be like, yeah, there's 20 every single snap card out there. How do you know that? Who told you that? Because the history of that card tells you otherwise. Because the history of that snap card says there was 10 of each card printed. And then the rumors got spread that there was 15, and then the rumors got 20. And then there was that one winner who posted the Snap Polywag, and he posted 15 of his cards, and he held back 15 that he didn't put in the photo. And then everyone knew that there was 20, and then the Silver Bible and all this stuff and blah, 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 right? But we quote stuff. I promise you, and I swear this, when I say that there's 20 of every single Snap card, I know that. I have no way to prove that. I am quoting a number that I heard from other people, or when people say that there was 39 Illustrator Pikachus. I promise you, I didn't do any of the research to figure out that there's 39 Illustrator Pikachus. And when you really go back and you look at the numbers and you crunch them down and you go back in time, and it's like, there wasn't 39, there was 30, then there was 20, then there was you keep going back and no one knew. I respect the people that did the work to get us to where we are now. And those people are the ones I respect in this hobby, because when no one else cared, they cared. And the reason why no one else cared was because it didn't matter. And even things like, I had MK Poke CC on, and he talked about Super Secret Battle Mewtwo. And so SSBs, how many of those cards existed? Is it 12? We think it's 12. I didn't do any of this research. I don't know. I respect those guys because they put the legwork in for all that time. So when people ask me, who do I respect in the hobby? I respect the people that were there before any of us, who figured it out, who cracked the code. And you know what? Maybe in the future, we're still learning, right? And I think we'll always kind of learn. But then again, this is the weird thing, right? It's like, who cares? Who cares that there's 39 Illustrator Pikachus? Like, we got 71 people watching this live. There's 39 Illustrator Pikachus. Probably out of the 71 people watching this, 0 people will ever own an Illustrator Pikachu in their entire life. They will never, ever, ever own that card. So why does it matter? It matters because when you ask the question of the people that I respect in the hobby, is the people that cared about stuff when no one else cared about it. That's it. Josh?
What do you think, Josh?
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, man. Is my audio? Can you hear me? Holy cow, what a disaster that was. I had to restart the PC, which ended up doing the key. So basically similar answer to you, man, but also, of course, all the new people, man, because it's also growing. They're going to be the legs for the future. Hopefully they stick around and stick in it. Hopefully we see a channel from Basic here in the coming months. And because one of the first comments, man, Basic, you're putting out way more content probably than I am time-wise. You're doing a great job. So keep it up. Enjoying it. But yeah, just the OGs, even the PokeRev, the Leonhardt, they got me into this. Without those guys, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. So it was just kind of that funnel that took me down to where I am now with the vintage stuff. And yeah, it's definitely everybody inside. I have a lot of respect for a lot of people right now. So appreciate you letting me in.
No, and I
hope you've been well. It's been a little while. My internet was dog bleep last time, so
sure. You know what? Somebody else wrote, we could give the other person that asked to join the chat. He just wanted to join the chat, so I'm gonna let him join. Hopefully I don't make a huge mistake.
Oh gosh.
Here's your mistake.
Yeah.
Shit, is Basic with a channel? No way, man. YouTube's not ready for that. YouTube's not ready for that, man.
Rocking TikTok, you know what it is.
TikTok I can get away with it. No one's on there. No one in the Pokesphere is on TikTok.
I'm on there. I see the channel.
All right, Josh, let's talk about. I got you face to face. Why are you a big CGC shill now?
Have you been watching the videos at all, man? I don't know. It's
Josh, I watched every single one of your videos. You're the biggest CGC shill who ever lived. What happened? You had one grader come on one time, and now you're just all about CGC. You didn't drill him on any of the questions. You let him get away with like a lot of stuff.
yeah, it was a lot of political answers he gave, and I have always never been the guy to kind of just drill somebody, and it's his business. I'm not going to try and ruin his business,
But
but
he's
yeah,
a grader. It's not his business. He's a grader, man.
he helped develop and start the company, the trading card grading portion. Matt did, so him and another guy essentially were the guys they pinged on to start the CGC trading cards.
During your live you had with him, did he say to you that he believed that one of the things about CGC was the fact that they didn't talk about what's the word I want to use? They didn't talk about, they don't know who's grading the cards themselves, stuff like that, like impartialness.
Yeah,
CGC has.
so like I was going through, like I was going to resubmit some cards, so I was concerned about now the impartialness, because he knows me and he knows I just cracked these 7 slabs. So I was hoping that they don't have the impartialness there. But when you add like a I forget what it's called, the designator on the back of it, the for box breaks and stuff like that, there's definitely impartialness because it's got a name on it. So usually they'll know what the heck it is. So that's kind of weird. But as far as like them seeing that I submitted something without that, it's basically impossible because it's all barcodes through their system. Just to answer your question, I don't think I'm a CGC still. I'm just critical. I'm a big fan of theirs, but I'm also very critical. And the gentleman that joined me, like the video before he joined me was like a thumbnail of like a sinking ship and a arrow pointing that CGC is going down. And I give them the good, give them the bad. There's been a lot of good lately though, besides like the 10s getting better, but it's also good for people wanting to resell. So I don't know. I'm mixed feelings about them right now. So I haven't submitted to them in a long time, except for my crossover. So
Yeah. So we got Pokemon Gym Heroes in the chat right now. Pokemon Gym Heroes, welcome to the chat. Hopefully you could hear me right now. You look like you're just looking. So this is one of those things. So Jake from Pokenomics did this on his stream. It was pretty awesome. So Pokemon Gym Heroes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Ah, perfect. Awesome, man. What's up? How's it going?
pretty good, man.
Yeah. I couldn't hear y'all for a second. I didn't realize I had to like click a button to be able to hear y'all. My bad. So I was messing with it, so I didn't hear the last couple of things y'all were talking about.
We were just talking about CGC, but for anybody out there who doesn't know you, including myself, this is one of the
Yeah.
Let us know about yourself a little bit.
So Pokemon Gym Hero, that's my Instagram. I could change my name. My real name, obviously, you see it's Joshua Hendricks. You probably bought from me actually on eBay. I wouldn't be surprised, bro. Like I've been in the hobby for a really long time, actually. I actually bought my house selling Pokemon cards. I don't work. I basically do this, like this is my job. So I quit my real job 2 years ago. I was in the hospitality field, I guess you say. I worked at a restaurant. I live here in Florida. I've known Ryan for six years probably. I knew Nick before Nick even started YouTubing, PokeRev, if people don't know who Nick is, obviously. I don't know. I mean, I've been, grading cards for a long time, just collecting for a long time, just really low key. Like you said, I understand your reasonings for not letting people just jump in because you don't really know like who's gonna come on here, what they're gonna say, and stuff like that. But I've been watching your channel before you even did a face reveal, which I don't even know how long ago that was. But I've been watching your channel. I just don't, come into chats and show my name. Like I had to actually sign in for my name to be able to pop up. So I don't jump into chats like that. I just watch YouTube videos. I watch lives here and there. I don't try to reveal myself too much. I kind of stay behind the scenes. I actually have, I don't know if you, because you're a big Skyridge fan, right? So have you seen the Skyridge Charizard pulled on YouTube? Have you seen that video?
No, I'm guessing you pulled the crystal Charizard on.
Yeah, so there's a funny story behind that. I mean, I'm not
Is
gonna
it
go
the
too deep.
reverse or the regular hollow.
No, it's the regular. I'm actually on FaceTime with Ryan too when I did it.
Oh, yeah.
4
no, I
years
know.
ago, 4 or 5 years ago, right? These are the times, right? On Facebook, I found 2 Skyridge packs on Facebook. How much do you think I paid for the 2 Skyridge packs?
How many years ago are we talking?
Like 4 or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago, probably, let's see, $3,000 a box, so $80 a pack.
Yeah. So look, the guy had them listed for 80. I told him I would buy them both. If I buy them both, would he cut me a deal? He told me he'll do them both for 70. 2 packs for 70. I think one was the ho-ho artwork and the other one was the Vaporeon. I found someone locally. This is, mind you, times have changed drastically. I found someone locally who had a binder that was selling it for 200 on OfferUp. They had a Gold Star Latios in it. I instantly seen it and I was like, bro, that's a Gold Star Latios, like $200. I rushed from USF. I'm down here in Florida. I rushed from USF after my exams over to Orlando, buy it from this kid. He said it's his sister's and she's off at college. So he sells me them. It comes with some EXs, you know, some reverses, the Latios, obviously. That was the main reason, right? I sent that off. It graded a 10. I'm ecstatic. I'm through the roof. At the time, that car's like $1,500. My first big, like, you know, come up or whatever you want to call that. I'm on FaceTime with Ryan. I'm like, yo, Ryan, like, I want to open up a Skyridge pack, but $80, that's expensive, man. That's expensive for a pack. And he's like, bro, stop. Am I allowed to cuss? Or I don't
Go ahead. You can
Okay.
fucking say whatever you want.
Well, all right. Well, Ryan was like, basically, stop being a pussy, bro. You just graded a 10 Latios. Just open up a pack. And I was like, fuck. All right, fuck it. I opened up a pack. I recorded it. It's on YouTube because I was going to do a YouTube channel, but I just didn't have it in me to be consistent, to like stay doing it. Anyways, I open it and I pull a Crystal Charizard. It's like 2 a.m. I'm screaming. My mom's like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, Mom, I just pulled a Crystal Charizard. And at the time in a 10, what were Crystal Charizards? Maybe 1,500, 2,000, I think. Something like that. They weren't crazy.
Yeah.
So I grade it. It grades a 10. Like, so that's just how I have, that's how I have the Charizard, the Crystal Charizard I have now. But that's just like a little earlier story of, you know.
So you still have that Charizard?
I still have that Charizard. I've actually graded 2 Skyridge Charizards in my whole time. I sold one. I sold it for like 2,800. And that was like way back. I'm one of the, I don't want to say it like that because I don't want to sound like cocky, but I'm one of the people who graded a Torch Shit Gold Star in a 10. I had that card when it was a pop 12. Sold it for $6,000.
What was the what was the peak on that crystal?
On what? What do you mean the
15?
peak?
15,000.
It's
15,
still
20,
right now.
Oh
Right?
no! Oh, you mean like the peak of like what it got to? I think the highest I've ever seen the Crystal Charizard go for, like realistically, like without people like, you know, shilling and all that stuff, I say I've seen it probably go 25, but like right now it's probably like a 15,000 right now.
It's a $15,000 card on PWCC. Yeah.
No, right now. He said what was the peak? Like what's the highest it got?
I don't think
During
it
the peak,
that
what was
high.
the highest?
It definitely had it definitely had to go over 15 because I mean, at times I have a base set PSA 10 unlimited Charizard too. And people were trying to offer me 25, 30 for that. And, you know, those are back down to 10K, even less. There's somebody who's trying to sell, I think one for like 9,800. So
So you know, Basic Trainer has a unlimited Charizard that no one knows the grade for, right?
oh, that's the Leonhardt one, right?
Never
Is that the
knew
one
that.
is that the one you're talking about? Yeah.
Look, there it is. You even got the box.
You don't want
Inside
you
the
don't
box. Why does
Uh,
it have a signature on it?
how come you haven't opened it yet? Or you know, my bad.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
The only person that knows the grade, the only person that knows if it's got the Leonhardt pedigree is Rusty CCA. He graded it on.
Oh, he graded for you.
You know, but his,
Word.
yeah.
Word. I heard you also say before I jumped on the live, because I have a lot of things that I like would love to talk about with people, and certain things I just don't jump on here. But you said that you had some cards graded with Graded Gem, right?
Yes.
Now, how do you feel about like, I mean, I'm pretty sure like everyone's already talked about this, but I'm just curious what your thoughts is about what happened with them. Like,
What specifically? Well, what?
just like how their whole thing unfolded, because they were doing their thing for a while, and then I guess they just got overwhelmed or whatever it was, you know, and they had to shut down, right?
Well, Graded Gem shut down because PSA shut down, right?
Right.
And when you're talking about the dismantling of Graded Gem,
Right.
specifically for the U.S., because I think that the overseas is still going on.
Right.
That was just because of issues that they were having, behind closed doors, and
Sure.
essentially they just had to, shut down the U.S. But I don't think it was anything having to do with backlogs or anything. Because if anything, that's a great problem to have. You just get more employees, and you that's how you fix that. But I think it was more or less issues and more or less PSA kind of putting roadblocks on Graded Gem.
Right.
That's my understanding. I don't know if I don't know if
Gem
anyone
never
here
really shut down. It was just they ended it, because you got to keep in mind that PSA, when they finally like said, okay, enough's enough, they never technically closed, and technical is a big, one of these, but you could always grade at like $600 a card, and then they dropped it 300 and 200 and 100 and 150, and now we're down to 50. But PSA never technically closed down, but Graded Gem just stopped being an option, right? Like,
Yep.
no one's gonna grade their cards through Graded Gem for $600, because at that point it's just you grade the card yourself. If you, for whatever reason, still had the very few Charizard first editions that are potentially worth to be graded at a $600 tier, because when you go from these really high tiers, and then as you work your way down, eventually like more and more cards go into the $100 grading tier, more are worth it, 50, 20, 30, whatever.
So, okay, I from what I remember watching your videos, you stand on always grade your cards, because that's obviously how you make your most money. And actually that is 100% true, because when I got into the hobby, that's actually how I was able to put myself into a position where I'm at now, is by grading your own cards. So
you're right though, but it depends on the card, depends on the
100%
condition of the card, stuff like
card,
that. Like,
the condition, the price that you get into it at,
and
tons of things.
And I talk about this all the time, is if I could go back in time, I would have graded everything.
Everything
It
more,
doesn't matter
100%.
what the grade, what the card, it doesn't matter the set. But I wasn't really ever doing that. I wish I could lie to everyone and say I was grading every PSA 6 uncommon. That wasn't the case. I was grading cards I thought were worth it to be graded at the time. So
that's one thing I
And
regret. My bad. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and today the funny story is it's almost the opposite. During Collecticon, 3 times I want to say, I recall vendors saying, you know what, for that price, I almost want to crack it and just sell it raw because I could get more for it. I would try to make offers, and it was like, no, because I would just crack it and sell it for more raw. And then they're not running.
Well, Josh, we got Josh over there. Josh has already figured out the game. He cracked I want to say a PSA 6 Charizard, regraded it to CGC with subgrades, ended up getting a 7.5. And Josh, you could correct me on the numbers, but I want to say you made $1,500 on that crack, right?
Yeah, it's probably 1,000 after fees and everything, and yeah, shipping.
$1,500 is a lot of money though, to take
Solid.
a PSA 6 to CGC
week, yeah.
7.5.
To take some channel locks and a hammer to it, yeah. That's
We don't talk about how they got open. We'll leave that one.
But you could have somebody out there who bought that 7.5 and was like, you know what? I'm gonna resubmit this a PSA.
So it was interesting. The guy
Just like
bought
a
it.
big
watched my
stupid
video.
circle.
Yeah, the guy who bought it watched my video, so he wasn't resubmitting it. So
Okay, good.
he had a CGC set.
in the crack game.
That's it. That's where it's at, man. That's one of the big benefits of CGC personally. That's the PSA 6s are pretty harshly graded compared to CGC.
So
CGC to the moon, baby.
just curious, back to you, basic trainer, real quick. Just curious, why just I just want to I'm always curious, like people's like, even if y'all can like put it on this, why would you go to another like company like Graded Gem or or like a Rusty or something like that and have them grade your cards for you when me personally, I've always been a firm believer that you should always grade your cards yourself. Because I personally like one person handling them, going one to PSA, you know what I'm saying? Not from me to Rusty or from me to, Graded Gem, and just too many hands, I feel like touching it. So I just always curious why people choose to grade through somebody.
You're talking about middleman then.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's a good
So
question for basic.
me personally, I've never graded a single card on my own.
Wow.
I've never even used middleman. I never even used a middleman up until the boom.
Okay.
Right. So at that time, when I'm between 2 months, because my first month was October, which is like my heaviest hitters, right? That was just like, okay, send the obvious stuff. Went through my binders, pulled the obvious stuff out. That was October. And then the whole boom happened, or I should say Logan Paul happened in November, I want to say, or late October, or some late October, early November, I can't remember. But anyway, once that happened, and then there was conversations about PSA shutting down, I decided then to actually go through my binder, pocket through pocket, and say I need to submit as much as possible at this $8, fee per card.
Mhm.
At that point, it just made it a lot easier, for me to just say, put everything together, send it off. I don't have to open an account. I don't have to, go through the entire process.
Sure.
Because to me, and even now, I see that as a one-time thing for me, because the stuff that I'm buying, I'm not gambling on the types of cards that I'm buying today slabbed already. I'm not gambling on a raw card unless I could see it myself in hand, right? I collect a con or whatever venues or at a shop. I'm not pulling that trigger on eBay based on pictures, paying $400, $500 to be able to get this $1,000, slab PSA 9. I'll rather just pay the $1,000 slab and not gamble. Like, that's how I see it, because that's just the case. So going back to your original question about, why not go through it? To me, it was a one-time thing, taking advantage of the boom. That was it. The slabs that I'm buying today, like, let's just say a Crystal Charizard. I mean, you're not going to find a PSA 10 Crystal Charizard out there raw, right?
No,
So
not now.
right. So it doesn't make sense to have an account for those types of cards. And while I'm not going after those types of cards, I'm more middle of the road, high end middle of the road, versus, just going after a modern card. If I was going after modern cards, things like that, yeah, I'm going to open up a CGC account, a PSA account, what have you, sorry, PK, and going that route. But yeah, but it was just a one-time thing. It was just one-time thing, send it all out, and that was that. Yeah.
I'm also somebody who's never graded with another company besides PSA. I've always graded with PSA, never graded with CGC, never graded with Beckett. I think Beckett's website and everything is just out of date, and their customer service is just horrible to me. CGC, on the other hand, it's hard for me to get behind another like company that can compete with PSA. Obviously, the future can change, things can change in the future. I could see how some people wanted to get, lower tier cards or cheaper cards in at cheaper prices when PSA was shut down and stuff like that. But I would have rather just waited and hopefully prices come back to like 20 or 25 for, PSA. Cause I mean, I remember grading cards with PSA with, Pokemon membership or whatever. You have a membership and you could get cards graded at like 750, bro. It was so crazy back in the day. And buying raw cards back in the day was me, like Ryan says, literally, like anybody says now, because everyone knows the trick. It's literally eBay, newest listing, scroll down. I mean, I could tell you, I bought Pikachu Gold Star, Rayquaza Gold Stars, like so many things back in the day, like, and graded them all myself, bro. Like, it's so funny. Like every time I see, Gary post his old grading things about how, oh, well, here's my first edition cards, I've graded this. I want to post my stuff sometimes, but I don't try to, go back and do all that and shot, because I feel like he's just doing it for the flex, and I'm not really trying to do all that. I don't care. Like, I know what I've accomplished. Like, it is what it is. I'm not trying to go back and do all that, but I mean, I guess it's just adapting with the times, but I don't know. I've always just graded with PSA, and I still grade all, bro. It's so funny when y'all brought up, bro, it's literally hilarious. PK, you and what's his name? I don't want to say y'all had beef, but whatever y'all want to call it. What was his name? I can't even think of his YouTube channel. What's his name? Pokenomics. What is it? Alex. His name is Alex. What's his Instagram though?
Yeah, yeah.
I know
Alex,
Instagram.
so
Yeah.
what about
No,
it?
no, just I just remember when y'all were going back at, and then things were brought up about modern and stuff about how Umbreon, the Umbreon alt art and stuff. I literally, when y'all started talking about all that modern stuff, I literally had just graded that card in a 10, sold it for $750. And like y'all were talking about it, and I just thought that was so ironic. And you and what's his name from Cardinal Gaming? What's the owner? What's his name?
Mason?
Mason. Yeah, y'all were talking about it and how y'all couldn't understand why people were buying it. I was as shocked, as y'all were that I listed it and it literally sold within a week. So it's just crazy that there's people who, if there's a card out there, bro, and they want it, they're gonna buy it. And I graded that at the $50 price point. I mean, I pulled it myself from a booster box case, but I just think that's crazy that when y'all start talking about that and modern and stuff like that, I was actually doing that. Like I was actually in the moment doing all that while y'all were talking about that stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of obvious plays out there for a lot of people, and
100%.
so this is the thing that I've come to the realization of, and I've came to this realization a long time ago. Is I always thought that we were in like the 10%, but we're not. Like the people who are buying these cards are not watching these channels. They're not watching YouTube. They are so far out of what. And
You were just talking about this the other day on your YouTube.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I also came to the realization that, and this is a newer realization, that I thought that the viewers for some channels and some stuff were also like, they would bleed over. And I don't think that the bleed over of viewers is as strong as I thought they were. I
Right.
think it's actually a lot less than I originally thought. So when you take a card like that Umbreon, as hard it is for me to say, because I look at every purchase as, does this make sense, right? And I'm sure you do, and I'm sure every time Josh makes a purchase, it's like, does that card make sense? And if Basic is buying a card, Basic's way down that chain. He is analyzing that card. Does this make sense to the fullest? And I think we are such a very small minority of this hobby. I think the majority of this hobby doesn't care. I think that's what it boils down to, is we want to make our dollars stretch the furthest and make our collections grow the biggest. And at the end of the day, just for the mass majority of this hobby, we got 82 people watching this. These people care, but the other 100,000 do not care, right?
Sure. Yep.
And I think about this. So Astro Radiance, I've been watching booster box prices sell. Currently they're selling for like, I don't know, between $100 and $103. And the big seller is one of the people that I've talked about on this channel before, Football Pete.
Football Pete, baby. Football Pete.
He's somebody I hope to have on this channel. I've already talked to him literally in person. The guy's name's Scott. He's a good guy, but he's going to be on this channel eventually. He sold like 3,200 of those booster boxes, right? Now, when I look at that and I'm like, okay, you got 3,200 people spending $100 a booster box. That is $320,000 worth of money going into Astro Radiance booster boxes.
Yep.
How many of that $320,000 are probably holding that as a sealed play?
Tons.
And I own none of it. I
don't blame you. Did you? Not to cut you off, but I was gonna say, did you see Safari Zone? I'm pretty sure y'all have heard of them. Safari Zone.
$4.99 for a case.
Yeah, Savari Zone had like a fire sale on their Facebook, like directing people to their site, and they were selling them basically fire
Yeah,
sale.
it was 490. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was
Yep.
499 a case. That's $83 a booster box for Astral
Yep.
Radiance. And
Yep.
again, this is stuff I know because I'm waiting for the deals right now. This is the crazy thing. You could even make the argument that $83 a box, or not a case, a box, $83 per booster box. You could almost make the argument is, are you almost overpaying? But this is crazy thing, $83. What about the people that are paying $86.50 and blah 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 and go down? This is the thing. We get wrapped up in this rabbit hole conversation of just what's the lowest,
Mm-hmm.
and I never know the answer, to be honest.
I mean, I bought in that cases at 86.50. So I mean, it is what it is. But I also I'm not opening them. I mean, I'm gonna hold them, and I truly believe that if you can get under 90, I think that's a good price regardless. That's just my opinion on any booster box. I got Fusion Strike at
What's the
80.
title of this video?
Hey,
The
I
title
hear
of
you,
this video is
bro.
Vintage Good, Modern Good, Pokemon Good.
Whenever Alex was trying to say you weren't a modern channel, I was like, bro, he's been talking about modern before he did a face reveal. Like, you've been talking about modern for a long time. A long time you've been talking about modern. So it's just kind of funny to me that he thought, or maybe he just like picks things about certain things you say. So I just don't know, but like it's kind of like how he picks certain things to talk about, like UPCs. Well, duh, who didn't know UPCs was gonna be a good play, especially if you get them at retail, like, or you have a distributor connect. Like, of course, those are gonna be up, 200% or whatever. Like, of course, like you're talking about the obvious.
UPCs is one of those very few items I've never personally been able to find one person who
Me
told me
neither.
that was a bad buy. Like, find me that one person who's like,
They're not.
what is MSRP 119? It's like, find me the one
Yeah,
person that
something like
says
that,
UPC at 119 is a bad buy. It's like,
bro.
I've never found that person. And even creeping up like 120, 130. I think the lowest they hit was like 140, and then there was a quick buyout on it. There's so much to unpack with that.
There's so many things that I like that I missed out on too, like because you just can't win on everything. But I remember when the Shining Legends premium collections, those were on Pokemon Center. I think those were like retail. I don't even know what they were, but they were on there for a long time, bro. I remember when you could go into Walmart and find Hidden Fates premium collections with the Rayquaza figure, like, and those are what, 500 now? I don't even know, something like that. But like, there's so many things like that some things I've just slipped through and haven't been able to, get because I can't follow everything. But I try to mix in what I can and buy here and there. Plus, I try to mix in with Magic too. I actually do a little bit of Magic as well. So because I grew up with Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 29. So I mean, born in 93, I remember getting packs from 7-Eleven and stuff like that.
So Josh, you got anything to add? I know you're over there.
Yeah, my bad. I feel like we've been talking. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of talking.
I have
Sorry.
bought zero modern.
I hear you.
But I definitely respect everyone that does, man. You can definitely
For
make
sure.
some money doing that. Obviously, you have a business. And Dan, Catch 'em All Collectibles, and Old School Pokemon, they all make a bunch of money. So do what you love.
No, for sure, bro. I agree with you 100%. I don't like, that's the thing though. I don't knock anybody who don't buy modern. I don't, not people who do buy modern. Like, if you want to buy modern, cool. If you want to mix and buy vintage and modern, cool. If you only want to buy vintage, cool. Like,
Yep.
I'd rather people buy what they want and spec on what they want than always listening to what everybody else. That's the thing. Like this, I don't want to say the YouTube like whole thing wasn't a thing, but like back in 2015, 2016, you didn't have all these channels being like, oh, these are what you should be investing in. Oh, these are the cards you should be buying. Like, no, you were doing research, you were going with your gut, you were buying things that you liked. And I'm an Arcanine fan. That's my favorite Pokemon. I was buying first edition Blaine's Arcanines when they were like $200 in a PSA 10. I remember sniping those on PWCC. And then, the boom happened and those jumped up to what, 2K or something like that. Like, and I had Skyridge Arcanine, Aquapolis Arcanine. I think Aquapolis Arcanine is one of the best artworks. So, I mean, It just depends. I always say the best thing to buy is what you love, not what everyone else says or like what everyone else is trying to tell you. Just buy what you like. Simple as that. And it always works out.
I know Mason from Cardinal Gaming loves Arcanine too. So you guys are like twins. You don't even know it.
Bro, Arcanine is amazing, bro. Arcanine and Blastoise, my two favorite Pokemon.
Yeah. But it's getting late here on the East Coast. It's 11:50 p.m. Eastern. I appreciate all four of you guys, or sorry, all three of you guys coming in. It was a fun chat. Basic, I appreciate you starting it.
Always.
Joshua, appreciate you coming at the end.
Yeah,
And then
that's
Josh.
Yeah, that's my name too. That's my name too. Me and him are Joshua.
Nice name, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
But for everybody else out there watching this, if for any reason you are not subscribed to this channel, I have zero clue at this point what you're doing. Definitely smash that like button. But for everybody else out there, well, I'll catch you on the next video.